those who are clamoring for Ilorin will not be number 2, Ilorin will nation number 2. The simple answer and my message to them is this: Ilorin has never been number 2. Ilorin has always been number 1. That is why when we were in school, whenever we are to chant our slogan, we say Emirate for number 1, we say Inshallah. And we immediately affirm that Emirate is already number 1, and we say Alhamdulillah. So if you have that mindset, that mentality that Emirate is already number 1 and we say Alhamdulillah, we thank God. So it shows that nobody should be gaslighting us that Emirate will now be number whatever that is not number 1. For the fact that we have Ilorin as the state capital, that has projected us to be number 1. In history, 1993 was something in Nigeria that's going to be an everlasting historic event on MKO Abiola. In history, we were told that it was like almost everyone wanted him. But if one person said no, it's not that just that one person that was an hindrance, that was an inhibitor to his success. It was because it was never meant for Abiola to become the president of Nigeria officially. So in that wise, I plead, my plea to the G15 is table your concerns to the reconciliation committee and other stakeholders that you have been doing, and please don't let this be a kind of friction to our great party, because I would not say you have paperweight effect to the success of our next general election. And I pen an open letter to Ambassador Fatai Yasiliki for several reasons. And it's in there or therein I put it that I understand his should I say his concern to the best of my understanding, and also I applauded him for what he has done personally in my own life, not directly for me, but I had an opportunity to lead or to champion a cause to support an individual, a Kwara, and he gave me that opportunity, that platform to even meet with the governor. So it's something I must commend. And also I pleaded, reminding him that even in his own way, in his own usual introduction, whenever Ambassador Yasiliki was to talk, one of the things he do invoke is some ayat, some verses from the glorious Quran, part of which is Wala Saufa Yutika Robuka Fatarido. So it's not just about that fast, it's about the belief, the intermittent understanding of what Quran is in our life, and especially in our faith. So I now told him that it is in that Quran also that it speaks to nobody can give you power and nobody can take power away from you. These two can only happen except by the will of Almighty Allah. So if you understand that, you that whenever you want to talk to the public, especially in political gathering, religious environment, you invoke, you recite certain portion of the Quran, it shows that you have the heart of God, you have the heart of you understanding that whatever that is driving you towards a particular goal, nobody can give it to you, nobody can take it away from you, no matter the process. Because one of the things the G15 they are trying to correct, let me use that word, I want to be careful with my word, is the process. And it is as simple as ABC. The endorsement was in a written form published online that the preferred successor for the governor, Malam Abdurrahman Abrazak, will have been Ambassador Abdulfattah Yasiliki. At no point did the governor say all party members must now vote for Ambassador Yasiliki. But like I said earlier, that one of the things that we enjoy in our party is the leadership and structure. The moment the governor had said his own mind that the man would have loved to have as his own preferred successor will be ought to have been Ambassador Fatai Yasiliki, and everybody should go to the field, they can go and do that. Yet, as at that time, there was a preceding statement, and that was also online, where the governor himself was even speaking to the public that he himself as a person, he knows where this gubernatorial race, where it should have been shifted to. And like many of us, but there are some factors that they are agitating against it, and he alone cannot decide it. So as at that time, there are two things we need to check in this kind of scenario. At a point, governor was telling us that if it left to him, he had a place in heart that if we should move our gubernatorial candidature to, it will help our party, it will solidify our interest in this particular district or region, and at the same time it will give us the equity, fairness and justice we have been clamoring for. Without him saying whatever the district he was thinking in his own mind, some of us will have reasoned along that ought to have been the Kwara North. So, but he said also in quotation that there are factors that are agitating against that, and he cannot alone, as a stand-alone person, despite being the governor, despite having the wherewithal and the executive power to say this is where I want, because he's a man who understands that whatever we do in democracy, it must be in line and in tune with the interest of the masses. So he said, okay, but since people are not allowing us to go this trend, then we do their bidding. But what is their bidding? Let's go to the direct primaries. That means that if it were to be consensus, then it had to have been like, okay, let us agree for someone to come from Kwara North. But some people agitated against it. Okay, let's go to the field. He now said, now my preferred successor, since we now want to make it an open game, then it will have been Ambassador Yaya Seriki. Again, it shows that this is a governor who understands that to pay loyalty, to pay back in request of someone who has been, should I say, somebody who has been supporting the party in his own way. What are the other metrics to support him also? And governor publicly made that kind of endorsement also. You see, the question on the perception about what transpired publicly between the candidate of APC for the gubernatorial seat and the party secretary. From the PR angle, as a PR personnel, I would like to say the very first thing that happened was just sensationalism. And in that wise, I could tell you for a fact that, you see, when you understand the game of your opponent so well, you wouldn't be defeated. That's just it. When you understand their tactics, you wouldn't be defeated. The question is, did the so-called, let me say, fictive, who happens to be the secretary, Alhaji Mustafa So, did he make any finger? Did he raise any finger? No. Did the so-called aggressor, from those who are saying that, right, Honorable Danladi, was there anything like to now come up and make a disclaimer or to whitewash himself? No. That was a dead on arrival campaign of calumny against him, because now we are seeing the light again with the advent of Right Honorable Yakubu Danladi Sali. And who has made this possible, if not with the intuition and wisdom and magnanimity of Madam Abdurrahman Abdurazak. So you might have divergent opinion, you might have different interests, you might have different leaders, you might have different aspirants, or someone you believe so much in that if this person should be my candidate, these are the things that I believe could be for me and for my people. But the moment that is during the primaries, but the moment we are done, that sense of statesmanship, sportsmanship should come into being, because a divided house would definitely collapse. A united front is what we can use to move from, the primaries, we consolidate on that, and to move into the general election. So if you now think that your friends, you as a youth, is in another camp and you cannot make friends with such a person, my concern is most of these people that we are even fighting for, the leaders, by the time they will be on the same round table to discuss about their affairs, to settle, to reconcile, they will not even carry most of their followers along. So you that you have burnt bridges, you that you have created unnecessary enmity for yourself and even for your generation, what will have happened to you by that time. So, and to the youth, youth participation is, if there is anything that's pertinent as anything in Kwara today or even in Nigerian politics, youth involvement, youth participation in politics and governance is as important as even the food we eat, the water we drink, the oxygen we inhale, or the carbon monoxide dioxide we exhale. Why? Because if you are not participating, you are allowing some people who are just dim earths, who are just have not, they are going to be the one to decide for you, and the decisions will cut across your social life, your economic life, your environmental condition, and every other thing that has to do with human nature. In that wise, you are endangering your future, and not just your own future, even the generation of yours that are coming. So it is in this purview that I feel we have to join it, in fact, at the early stage of our life, because in politics there will be moments for sadness. In fact, there is this common language, street word, like maybe breakfast or something. You go chop ham, forget. You go chop that breakfast. But the earlier you chop ham, the better for you to prepare your lunch, your dinner, and even some reserves.